Greg Alexander, Blues camp. He's on the line. Been interesting 24 hours. Greg Alexander, welcome to
Andrew.
Breakfast with Vossi and Brandy and Copes.
And Trent, how are you, mate?
Going well. Brandy, you've been under the pump lately, haven't you?
Mate, I'm always under the pump. It's my bristling brandy. That's how I roll these days.
Well, Brandy, answer this question. Is it true that you Googled eBay to see if they sell dingoes and you were going to set that dingo into the studios of Fox League next week on NRL 360? Is that correct?
That's very good. I saw a vision of that again this morning. They love the dingo vision.
Yes.
But yes, no, that won't be happening. All good. Just a difference of opinion.
Brandy, my vision on that was I actually can understand both sides, right? Like, because not necessarily Reedy being absolutely right or you being absolutely right, but his rationale for asking the question, I don't mind, right? Like, it's his job to have opinions and write things and whatever. But you, as a selector and, picking someone like Bradman Best, you don't need to publicise your thoughts. You could have had him on a short list for 5 years. It doesn't mean you need to tell anyone about it. And if he has brought forward claims to be picked, he deserves to be picked, no doubt.
If Isaac Tago was picked and everyone said, "Oh, gee, we didn't see that coming." Well, okay. Well, how much footy have you been watching? Who's watching the footy? Like, can someone put their hand up? Everyone that's making comment around players, and can they actually say, "I've watched all of his games this year, and he's going well." And I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I'm just talking about watching footy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of commentary that is thrown around about players, but how much footy is being watched?
Can I ask you this, Brandy, just on the selection of the squad, and if we just went to raw numbers, the fact that there's 7 changes, now there's a couple of injuries, quite obviously, but you as selectors, if you can give us an insight, do you think that there's, maybe that's too many, that's too many? If we go back, first game we weren't far off, second game, yes, well beaten, but maybe it's too many to make. Do you talk in those terms, or no, you just go, it's a clean slate for the last game and you pencil names in, and then once you've written the 17 names down, you realize, gee, that's 7 changes. Is that how it works?
Yeah, yes, Vossi. And I don't think 7 changes does sound a lot too because of injuries. 2 players have come in because they haven't been fit to be selected, and they would have been in the lineup through games 1 and 2. Jake Trbojevic and Regan Campbell-Gillard. We went out and watched Regan in his return game before we had to pick the side of game 2. Now, Regan had been out for 8 weeks and played, and we just thought, well, he probably needs another run before he's ready for State of Origin. So that's the reason why Stefano had a run. He'd been involved in the camp, so we thought, well, no Jake, no Regan Campbell-Gillard. Stefano probably deserves a chance to see what he can do. Now, he didn't get much time on the field, and that's just how the game played out. But we don't walk in to the chat and say, well, we just pick the side. We pick the players we think can win the game for us, whether there's 3 changes or 5 changes.
Brandy, I'm interested. The 2 debutants, Bradman Best and Koloamatangi, 2 really exciting players, just from my point of view as a fan, watching them play. They look like they can break open a game at any point. How much of this is about it being this match or the future for New South Wales?
Well, I guess anyone that makes their debut is, it's a look into the future, Trent. I don't think it's per se we sat down and said, well, okay, who's going to be good next year? Who do we need to blood? We're thinking, well, no, who do we think will play good next Wednesday night? So I think, you think about players, and Keon's been part of the setup for a number of years now, 18th, 19th, just hasn't had a start. And, because we went with Cody and Cameron Murray at lock and Damien at hooker, we thought, well, another South Sydney body in the team certainly won't hurt. And that's not the whole reason why he got picked. He deserves to be selected just on his own merit. But I think it's all about winning next Wednesday night.
Brandy, what was Jerome Luai unlucky to a degree to not keep his spot?
Well, I think so, Vossi, because Jerome was one of our better players in game one, and I thought Jerome's form leading into Origin and in between Origin, he was very, very good for Penrith on Friday night against the Melbourne Storm. And the responsibility on Jerome's shoulders to play a certain style of football. He doesn't have to wear everything, but we just needed to see if we could unlock the players around the halves. And Cody Walker, no one does that better than Cody. And Cody was. We did think about Cody for game two, but he had that quad injury that stopped him from training, and he ended up passing fit for the South game late in the week. So Cody has been on the radar, but we just haven't attacked the way we've wanted to, and we think Cody can unlock those players around him.
And Brandy, I remember talking to you about game two on this very show about the absence of utility on the bench and Reece Robson, and maybe what you might do in the event of an injury to an outside back. Little did you know it was going to happen five minutes in. But now you've got Clint Gutherson in the team. Is that speaking directly to what happened in game two and also what he brings to the table? Or is it just he put forward such a compelling case that you just couldn't leave him out?
All of it. Yep. All of it, Copes. Yeah, all of it. Yeah, wasn't great to lose Tommy and then, have to throw up Cameron Murray or Damien Cook to play in the centre. So Gutho covers all that and covers the halves as well.
All right, some texts just to cogitate here. Was Cody only picked so Jonathan Thurston could yell Walker's on in the third game? You've now brought that back on. But Walker will be on right from the start. So if the players aren't aware that Walker's on, Queensland, that's not really going to help. Not the greatest text. Please ask Brandy, will Penasini not considered for a centre spot? Well, I'm sure he's considered. They're all written down. It's not like I can only assume a selection meeting. You do talk. You mention names. Yeah. You mention everyone. Everyone's a contender, aren't they?
You do. You do. There's a list. Like we've got a chart with New South Wales eligible players for every position. And like it's a flow chart that might have 8 or 9 players in each position. So those players, the players that are on the fringes, and there was Matt Burton, got spoken about to play left centre. Isaac Tago got spoken about. Will Penasini, we didn't mention, but
plays on the right.
Yes. Playing good. Well,
no,
but and that's what was thrown up last night. What about Will Penasini? Well, no, he's playing good for Para, but sorry, no, he didn't get mentioned. So anyway, that's
all right. There's one little one here.
Brisbane Eel. That's the rub of it.
We're at war, as you know, with England at the moment. But Brisbane Eel, he's at war with Queensland because he's based in Brisbane, but he's a New South Welshman. He's got a message for you, Vossi and Copes. I applaud Brandy on how he dealt with Reedy. I would love him as my manager at work. Great stuff, Brandy. You at least articulate a lot more than Wayne. We 100% trust you and Freddie. Don't worry, Reed. The others. There you go. Brisbane Eel giving a little pep talk today. You go on into your day, Brandy. We'll keep in touch.
That's the best thing I've heard, Vossi. That's
yes.
the best.
They're on the bus with you.
I've heard in 6 weeks.
They're on the bus with you, Brandy.
You feel good?
Good.
Feel good. All right. We'll go steal some slippers. Good on you, Brandy. Have a good day.
Good.
Brandy and Blues Camp right here on The Breakfast Show on SEN.